I killed my father with a single phone call. Not with a bullet or a blade, but with words that shattered his empire like glass under a sledgehammer, words that exposed the rotten core of our family to the world. My sister, the golden child, watched it all burn from her stolen BMW, tears streaming down her Botox-smooth face as sirens wailed closer. And me, I stood in the rain outside our childhood home, clutching that crumpled $2 bill like it was the last thread of my soul, knowing I'd trade hellfire for the chance to do it again. It started 18 years ago, but the hook that dragged me under was that goddamn will reading. To my beloved daughter, I leave the keys to the future, the BMW X7, fully loaded, and 50 grand in cash to kickstart her dreams. The lawyer's voice droned like a bad hangover. And there she sat, legs crossed in her designer skirt, flashing that pearl-toothed smile. Then he turned to me, eyes flat as a Midwest winter, and to my son, Jack. $2. For all you've given. Laughter rippled through the room. Cousins, aunts, the whole parasitic circus. But I didn't laugh. I felt the noose tighten, the betrayal that had festered since I was 16 snapping taut around my neck. That $2 wasn't pocket change. It was a middle finger wrapped in legal paper. A public execution of the black sheep who'd carried their sins on his back for decades. I walked out without a word, the door slamming like thunder. But the real storm was just brewing. By dawn, I'd unearthed the grave they'd buried me in, the secret that turned our perfect American family into a house of cards built on lies, blood, and a hit and run that should have ended Elena's fairy tale before it began. The conference room in downtown Chicago smelled like stale coffee and regret, the kind that clings to your skin after a bender you can't remember. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the loop's steel jungle, where cabs honked like angry geese and suits hustled through the December drizzle. It was the kind of gray day that makes you question if the sun's just a myth Midwesterners tell themselves to get through January. I sat at the end of that polished oak table, nursing a black coffee gone cold, staring at the brass nameplate, Jack Harrison, age 34. Unemployed loser. Elena was across from me. All highlights and highlights, blonde waves cascading like she'd stepped off a L'Oreal ad, her nails tapping a rhythm on her iPhone. She was 32, 2 years my junior, but light years ahead in the family ledger. CEO of her own boutique PR firm. Married to a hedge fund prick named Todd who collected Rolexes like others collect regrets. Me? I'd bounce from gig to gig, mechanic, bouncer. That one stint as a linesman on Lake Michigan's freighters, always one bad break from the streets. But hey, someone had to keep the family secrets oiled and quiet. Old man Harrison, our father, Victor, had croaked 2 weeks prior from a sudden heart attack at 68. Bullshit. The autopsy report I'd snuck a peek at whispered overdose in fine print, but no one dug deeper. Why would they? He was the king of his scrap metal empire. Harrison Salvage and Recycling, a Rust Belt behemoth that clawed its way from Southside junkyards to multi-million contracts with the city. Elena idolized him. I tolerated him. Mom had dipped out when we were kids, some affair with a trucker. Last seen hauling ass to Reno, so it was just us against the world. Or so the fairy tale went. The lawyer, a weasel-faced guy named Hargrove with a tie that screamed, "I summer in the Hamptons," cleared his throat. Victor Harrison's last will and testament, dated June 15th of this year. He adjusted his glasses, flipping pages like he was auditioning for a bad procedural. The room hushed, uncles nursing tumblers of bourbon, aunts fanning themselves with estate brochures. Elena leaned forward, eyes sparkling like she'd already spent the inheritance. To my cherished employees and loyal partners at Harrison Salvage, I bequeath bonuses and stock options as outlined in Appendix B. Yawns all around. Then the meat, properties, the lake house in Michigan, the condo in Lincoln Park. Elena got the lion's share. Of course, the penthouse overlooking the river. Her childhood home, now hers to flip or Airbnb to influencers. Todd smirked, whispering something that made her giggle. And to my daughter, Elena Harrison Thompson, Hargrove intoned, I leave the symbol of our family's drive, the 2025 BMW X7 M60i. Black sapphire metallic, fully customized with the works. Plus, $50,000 to fuel your visionary pursuits. Applause. Elena's cheeks flushed pink. That practiced blush she weaponized in boardrooms. She mouthed thank you, Daddy, to the empty air, dabbing a tear with a silk handkerchief. I shifted in my seat, the vinyl creaking like a warning. $50K? For pursuits? She'd just closed a deal with some tech bro to rebrand his app as woke, whatever the hell that meant in 2025. Hargrove paused, shuffling papers. His eyes flicked to me, then away, like I was a stain on the carpet. Finally, to my son, Jack Harrison. $2. As a token of the value you've brought to this family, the room exploded. Not in outrage, but in that awkward chuckle of the privileged. Oh, Victor. Always the joker, variety. Uncle Ray slapped his knee, spilling scotch. Aunt Lydia cooed. It's symbolic. Dear, $2 for the road. Elena's laugh tinkled like wind chimes in a hurricane, sharp and cutting. She caught my eye, her smile faltering for a split second. Pity? Guilt? Nah. Just the flicker of a predator scenting weakness. I didn't move. Didn't blink. The $2 bill, crisp, uncirculated, like it had been pulled from a vault, sat on the table in front of me, taped to a note in Dad's spidery scrawl, for all you've given. Make it count. Given? I'd given everything, my youth, my record, my goddamn freedom. But they didn't know that. No one did, except Elena. And she owed me her entire polished life for it. I peeled the bill off, folded it into my wallet, right next to the faded Polaroid of us as kids. Her in pigtails, me shielding her from a rainstorm. Then I stood, chair scraping like nails on a chalkboard. Enjoy the ride, sis, I said, voice low enough that only she heard the gravel in it. Hope it handles blood on the tires. The drive back to my studio in Pilsen was a blur of wipers slapping rain and FM radio preaching about family first in this fractured America. Lakeshore Drive glittered like fool's gold under sodium lamps, billboards hawking EVs and therapy apps. I pulled into the lot behind my building, a converted warehouse with graffiti murals of Che Guevara flipping off yuppies, and killed the engine of my 98 F-150. The one dent from that night 18 years ago still unrepaired. Inside, the place was a shrine to arrested development, posters of Springsteen peeling at the edges, a mini-fridge humming with PBR tallboys, a stack of unpaid bills on the Formica counter. I cracked a beer, sank into the sagging couch, and pulled out the $2. Held it to the light, Andrew Jackson sneering back, oblivious to the irony. This wasn't about money. It was the final fuck you from a man who'd built his fortune on scraps, then scrapped his own son. My phone buzzed.
Elena.
Jackie.
Come on.
It's just Dad being dramatic. Meet for drinks? My treat. BMW's got a sunroof for stargazing, lol.
Delete.
Another buzz, Todd. Tough break.
Bro.
Hit me up if you need a loan. Block. Then Mom from Reno. God knows how she heard. Saw the obit. Sorry about your dad. Wire me a cut. Laugh or cry. I chose the former. A bitter bark that echoed off the brick walls. Sleep didn't come easy. Dreams twisted like Lake Michigan fog. Dad's gravelly voice barking orders at the yard. Elena's screams on that rain-slick road. The crunch of metal and bone under tires that weren't mine. I woke at 3 a.m., sweat-soaked. The $2 crumpled in my fist.
Enough.
I'd walked away from the will, but not from the truth. It was time to dig up the body they thought they'd buried. By sunrise, I was in the basement of the old Harrison house. Elena had graciously let me keep the key. Said it was sentimental. Bullshit. The safe was hidden behind a rusted filing cabinet. Combination my birthday backward. 8507. Inside, ledgers yellowed with age. Dad's off-books deals with the mobbed-up unions. And the file. The one marked YH. Incident, 2007. I flipped it open. Heart pounding like AV8 on redline. Photos first. The wrecked Civic. Totaled against a guardrail on I-94. Headlights shattered like broken teeth. Then the report. Cops chalked it to hit and run. Unidentified driver. Victim a homeless vet named Marcus Hale. 52. DOA at Cook County. Elena's signature on the falsified insurance claim. My confession scrawled in Dad's hand. Jack Harrison. 16. Admitted fault. Juvenile record sealed. I'd taken the fall. Lied to the cops. Swallowed the community service. The suspended license. The whispers that dogged me through high school. All because Elena, sweet 16, buzzed on vodka cranberries from Daddy's liquor cabinet, had swerved to miss a deer and plowed into a man sleeping in the breakdown lane. Dad covered it. Lawyers. Bribes. A donation to the PD's holiday fund. Family protects family, he growled, slapping my cheek hard enough to ring my ears. Or we all go down. Elena had cried for weeks. But not from guilt, from fear of losing her cheer squad captaincy. Her prom queen crown. I'd hated her for it then, but loved her enough to shield her. Stupid kid shit. Now, that shield was rusted through. I snapped pics on my phone, uploaded to a burner drive. One call to that sleazy PI from the Yellow Pages. Discreet investigations. No questions, and the wheels turned. By noon, I had a dossier. Elena's firm laundering image for corrupt councilmen. Todd skimming from his fund. Dad's empire built on toxic dumps the EPA had overlooked for decades. The $2? It was hush money. A joke to remind me of the silence I'd bought with my life. That night, I met Elena at the Gauge. Her favorite Wrigleyville haunt, craft cocktails and crafty lies. She breezed in, BMW keys jingling like victory bells, hugging me with that perfumed squeeze. Jackie, you scared me, ghosting like that.
Seat, bartender.
2 Manhattans. Extra cherry. We clinked glasses. Her eyes scanning me like I was a client pitch. Look. The will. It's Dad's way of tough love. Remember when he made me bus tables after that shoplifting thing? Builds character. Shoplifting? Try vehicular manslaughter. I sipped, letting the rye burn. Character.
Yeah.
Like when I built yours by eating shit for you on that road. Her smile froze. cherry stem twisting in her fingers. Ancient history.
Jack.
We were kids. Dad said. Dad said protect the golden goose. But the goose is molting.
El.
Feathers of fraud. Eggs of embezzlement. I slid my phone across. The photos glowing like accusations. Her face drained. Botox be damned. Lines cracked through the facade. You wouldn't whisper, but her eyes screamed blackmail. Wouldn't what? Tell the truth? For once, I stood, tossing a 20 on the bar. Drive safe. That Beamer's got good brakes, unlike the Civic. Outside, the wind off the lake whipped my collar. I walked, blocks blurring, the $2 heavy in my pocket. Walking away was easy. Revenge? That was the long con. The American dream twisted into a nightmare. And I was just getting started. Pilsen streets were alive with the pulse of the city that never sleeps but always schemes, taco trucks belching cumin-scented steam. Murals of law virgins splashed in day-glow defiance, lowriders thumping Bad Bunny under sodium glow. I'd crashed here after high school, chasing the ghost of a normal life. But normal don't stick when your blood's laced with Harrison poison. The apartment was a foxhole, leaky pipes dripping like guilty consciences. Neighbors blasting reggaeton to drown out their own dramas. It suited me, close enough to the loop to smell the money. Far enough to pretend I wasn't drowning in it. First order, cash. I hit the scrap yard at dawn. Dad's old kingdom, now Elena's playground. The gates creaked open, chain link rattling like bones in the wind off the Calumet. Foreman Joey, paunchy,
Tattooed.
loyal to the paycheck, waved me through.
Jack. Heard about the old man. Tough.
Need work? Always, I grunted, pulling on gloves stiff with grease. The yard was a graveyard of America's excess, rusted Fords gutted like roadkill, appliances stacked like modern cairns, conveyor belts humming with the grind of demolition. I started on a pile of catalytic converters, torch slicing metal with a hiss that matched my mood. Sweat beaded, mixing with diesel fumes, as memories clawed up unbidden. Back in '07, the yard was Dad's throne room. He'd perch on his forklift like a pirate king, barking orders at us kids, Elena fetching coffee in her pinafore, me hauling rebar till my hands blistered. This city's built on junk, son, he'd say, clapping my shoulder hard enough to bruise. And junk's where the real money hides. Turns out, he meant the kind that poisons rivers and buys silence. Joey sidled up at break, offering a dented thermos of Joe. Boss lady, Elena, says you're persona non grata. But fuck that. You're Harrison blood. He spat tobacco juice into the gravel. Heard the shit. $2? That's colder than a lake fish. I nodded, torch flame dancing in my eyes. Symbolic. Like the time she wrapped the caddy around a pole joyriding. And I took the DUI. Joey's bushy brows shot up. No shit? Thought that was you. He whistled low. Family?
Huh.
Eats its young. By noon, I'd pocketed $300 in under-the-table scrap, enough for burner phones, bus fares, the PI's retainer. Joey slipped me a tip. Elena's meeting some suits tonight at the old warehouse. City council vibe. Smells off.
Perfect.
I cleaned up in the yard's piss-yellow bathroom, splashing water on a face that looked like it had been run over twice. Mirror lied back a stranger, crow's feet from squinting at horizons I'd never reach, scars from yard fights and bar brawls. The $2 peeked from my wallet. Jackson's mug mocking me. Make it count, Dad wrote.
Oh.
I would. The warehouse loomed on the south side, a behemoth of corrugated iron and broken dreams. Where Dad once stored product for the outfit, Chicago's lingering mob echo, rebranded as consultants in the Trump era. I parked a block away, hood up against the sleet, and ghosted through the chain link like I owned the shadows. Elena's Beamer purred curbside, vanity plate, yell and PWR, Elena Power.
Cute. Inside.
Voices echoed off concrete pillars, Elena's honeyed pitch. A gravelly laugh from Alderman Ruiz, crook in a cashmere coat, hand in every pothole payoff. Todd hovered, laptop open, numbers flickering like fireflies in the dark. And with the rezoning, Harrison Salvage expands, green tech facade, but we both know it's landfill gold.
Ruiz Chakel.
Cigar smoke curling like a noose. Victor was a poet with permits.
You? Elena?
You're the muse. But the EPA's sniffing, that dump site in Blue Island, leaks like a sieve. Handled, she purred. My firm's got the spin. Sustainable reclamation.
Plus. Jax.
Indisposed. No loose lips. My gut twisted. Handled. Like Marcus Hale, the vet she'd turned into roadkill. I edged closer. Phone recording. Heart hammering. Todd spotted a shadow me and froze. What the security? But Elena waved him off, heels clicking as she stepped into the beam of a dangling bulb. Jack, Jesus. You look like shit. This is private. Private like the night you called me from the ditch? Jackie. Please. It was an accident? My voice echoed, raw as the steel around us. Ruiz and Todd flanked her, goons in Brooks Brothers. She flushed, but her chin lifted, that Harrison steel. You're drunk.
Or high.
Go home. Home, to the $2 and a kick in the teeth. I played the clip from the PI, her voice on a tapped line, bribing an inspector. This is bigger than a fender bender. Dad's empire? Built on bodies. Marcus Hale had a name. A Purple Heart. And you. Ruiz's hand shot out, meaty fingers clamping my arm. Kid.
Walk.
Or we make you. I twisted free, adrenaline surging like bad moonshine. Tell him, Elena, how your little accident was the blueprint for every cover-up since. How I ate the blame so you could play princess. Her eyes, blue like mine, but colder, narrowed. You're nothing without us. Always were the spare tire. The punch landed from Todd, a haymaker to the ribs that folded me like scrap. I tasted copper, vision blurring, but I laughed, wet, ragged. Spare? I'm the engine. Sis. And I'm revving up. They dragged me out, dumping me in the gutter like yesterday's takeout. Rain pelted my face, mixing with blood. The Beamer roared past, Elena's profile a silhouette of betrayal. I staggered up, ribs screaming, and hailed a lift with Joey's cash. Back in Pilsen, I nursed bruises with whiskey, uploading the audio to that burner drive. Seed planted. Next morning, the Tribune's obit section ran a sidebar. Victor Harrison's legacy, recycling king or toxin tycoon? Anonymous tip. Naturally. Elena called at 7 a.m. Voice eraser. You son of a bitch. Fix this. Fix? Like you fixed Hale? Silence. Then a click. War declared. I hit the road then. Thumb out on I-90. hitching to Michigan's lake house, hers now. But the deed lagged. The drive north was catharsis, endless cornfields giving way to dunes, billboards preaching Jesus and casinos. A trucker picked me up, grizzled vet named Cal with a silver star tat. Family trouble, he grunted, merging with a downshift. More like family felony. I spilled a sanitized version, the will, the favoritism. He nodded.
Sagely.
Had a sister once. Took my pension for her business. Burned it all. Walked away richer in scars. By dusk, the lake house loomed, cedar shakes weathered gray. Windows dark as Dad's soul. I jimmy the back door. Familiar as sin. And rifled drawers. Elena's diary from '07. Pages dog-eared, with guilt poems turned to gloating. Jack took the hit, my hero. Now I'm free.
Free. Yeah.
A shadow moved outside.
Todd.
Early bird with a Beretta? I froze. Pulse thundering. But it was a raccoon. Scavenging like me. Close call. I pocketed the diary. Torched a Marlboro on the deck. Lake wind whispering secrets. The $2 fluttered from my pocket, landing face up. Make it count. Back in Chi by midnight. I crashed hard. Dreams of Elena's screams. Hale's ghost in the rearview. Woke to a text from unknown. We know what you have. Meat or Marcus isn't the only name on a slab.
Game on.
Chicago winters bite like a junkyard dog, teeth of ice wind off the lake. Breath fogging in the pre-dawn chill as I hoofed it to the L tracks. The blue line rattled overhead, sparks showering like faulty fireworks. Commuters herded like cattle to the financial district slaughter. I blended in. Hoodie up. The $2 tucked in my sock like a talisman or a curse. Sleep had been a tease. Fractured by that threat text glowing on my burner. Meet at the old yard office. 5 a.m. Or Marcus isn't the only name.
Who?
Ruiz's muscle? Todd's Wall Street Wolves? Didn't matter. I'd grown up dodging Dad's associates, guys with pinky rings and pink slips for snitches. The yard gates loomed, floodlights buzzing like angry hornets. Joey's truck already parked crooked. I slipped through a side cut in the fence. Boots crunching frost-laced gravel. Air thick with the tang of rust and regret. The office trailer squatted like a tumor on the lot, prefab tin box. Windows boarded against prying eyes. Door ajar. Lights spilling yellow. I pushed in. Hinges whining. Hand clenched around a tire iron from the truck bed. Inside. Hargrove the lawyer. Perched on Dad's old desk. Files splayed like a bad hand in poker. No goons. Just him. Ty Askew. Tumbler of something amber sweating rings on mahogany. Jack. Punctual. Sit. His voice was oiled, like he'd practiced in front of a mirror. I stayed standing, iron heavy. This your idea of a chat? Texts from ghosts. He chuckled, dry as autumn leaves. Precautions. Victor's passing left. Complications. Sit. Or we do this with the CPD outside. Bluff or not. I dropped into the creaky chair, iron clinking the floor. Hargrove slid a folder across, stamped confidential. Harrison Salvage. Your father wasn't just a scrapper. He was a fixer. Unions, aldermen, even the feds during that opioid sweep. Elena's carrying the torch, but she's sloppy. You're the wild card. Wild card with $2 and a grudge. I flipped the folder. Spreadsheets of offshore accounts. Numbered like Swiss cheese. millions funneled through shell core in the Caymans. Elena's signature bloomed like bloodstains. This why the tip to the trib? Or you fishing for a cut? His eyes gleamed. Shark slick. Opportunity. Victor cut you out because you knew too much. The '07 incident. The Blue Island leaks. But knowledge is currency. Help me audit. And I bury the $2 story. Walk. And Elena's firm crumbles. Your call.
Audit. Right.
I'd seen enough Law and Order to smell the setup. You're the weasel who read the will. Dad's puppet. What's your angle, senior partner at Skadden? Hargrove leaned in, breath sour with scotch. Survival. The feds are circling, Rico vibes on the recycling rackets. Elena's hot, but you're clean. Relatively. Take the fall again.
Like old times.
$50K. Sealed records. A one-way ticket to anywhere.
USA. Take the fall.
Again. For her. The room spun. Trailer walls closing like a coffin. Marcus Hale's face flashed unshaven. Eyes hollow from nom ghosts. Now mine. Fuck your deal. Tell Elena the truth's got teeth now. I swept the folder into my pack, bolting before he could yell.
Outside.
Dawn cracked the sky bloody. Sirens wailing distant. Joey waved from the crane. Oblivious. I hot-footed to the L. Train doors hissing shut on my heels. Back in Pilsen. Caffeine and paranoia fueled a deep dive. The PI's next drop, Elena's emails. Hacked from Todd's sloppy cloud. Goldmine deals with Ruiz to redevelop contaminated sites. Kickbacks laundered through her PR gigs. One thread chilled, Jack sniffing. Handle like '07. Reply from Dad. Pre-death. Boys loyal. $2 remind him. Loyal. The words soured like milk. I paced the studio. Walls closing. The $2 pinned to the corkboard like a voodoo doll. Called Cal the trucker. Burner to burner. Need a ride. Off-grid. Family heat. His drawl crackled. Molten. By noon, we were barreling west on I-80. His rig loaded with steel coils for Gary. Indiana flatlands stretched. Billboards for Trump rallies and truck stops blurring past. Cal chain-smoked camels. Stories spilling like loose cargo. His sister. Hooked on pills. OD'd after he cut her off. Forgave too late. Don't make my mistake. Kid. Forgiveness is for suckers, I muttered. Wind whistling through the vent. Gary hit like a gut punch, Mills belching fire. Air thick as guilt. We parked at a dive called Rusty's. Neon flickering, eat, over a lot pocked with semis. Inside, vinyl booths cracked like old skin. Jukebox crooning Hank Williams. Over burgers greasy as lies.
Cal provat.
What did they do? Besides the car? Everything. I spilled the hidden run, the sealed juvie wrap. Dad's empire of rust and rot. Cal listened, nodding slow. Sounds like my war. Took bullets for brass who sold us out. Came home to a foreclosure notice. His eyes, faded blue, like faded flags, held mine. Revenge? It's a slow poison. But hell, if it's all you got. We parted at dusk. Him slipping me a .38 snub nose, for luck, wrapped in oilcloth. Back on the Greyhound to Chi. Gun heavy in my pack. I plotted. Elena's next gala. Harrison Foundation fundraiser. Black tie schmooze at the Art Institute. I'd crash. Not with fists,
but facts.
Leak the ledger to a journo contact from my bouncer days, Sully at the Sun-Times. Owed me for breaking up a brawl. The bus lurched through tolls. Night falling like a shroud. Phone buzzed, Elena. Voicemail. Voice trembling but edged. Jack. Hargrove called. Whatever you think you're doing, stop.
Todd's. He's got people. Come home.
We can fix this. Like always.
Fix.
Like duct tape on a hemorrhaging artery.
Delete.
The city lights beckoned. A spiderweb of deceit. At Union Station, I melted into the crowd. Tourists. Hustlers.
Ghosts.
Pilsen welcomed me with rain-slick streets. To carry us steaming against the cold. Sully met at a Wicker Park coffee joint. Hipsters typing manifestos on Macs. Balding. Cynical. Nursing an espresso. Harrison scoop? Better be juicy.
Jack.
Last tip was a bust. I slid the USB, ledgers. Emails. The '07 file digitized. Manslaughter cover-up.
Toxic waste.
Rico bait. Your byline. My anonymity. He scanned, whistling. This torches the South Side elite. Elena Harrison? She's the darling of the chamber. You sure? Sure as the $2 in my pocket. I stood. Coffee untouched. Run it Friday. Before the gala. Outside. Sleet stung like accusations. My ribs ached from Todd's punch, but resolve hardened like quenching steel. Home, such as it was dark. Mail slot stuffed with final notices. I unkissed the .38, oiled it by lamplight, the $2 beside it like a sidekick from hell. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of Elena's Beamer hydroplaning. Hale's body tumbling like discarded scrap. Woke to pounding, door rattling like Judgment Day. Peeped through blinds. 2 suits. Badges glinting. Hargrove's hounds? Or feds, Mr. Harrison, CPD. Open up.
Fuck.
The Ledger War had fired the first shot, and I was in the crosshairs. The Art Institute's grand hall glittered like a vein of fool's gold, chandeliers dripping crystal tears. Walls lined with Monets that mocked the plebes below. Black ties and ball gowns swirled in a waltz of whispers and wine. Chicago's power players preening under the guise of philanthropy. The Harrison Foundation Gala, Elena's masterpiece. Raising funds for at-risk youth while papering over the at-risk empire. I'd slipped in through the loading dock. Tux rented from a pawn shop, rumpled Armani. Clip-on bow tie. Shoes polished with spit. Face shaved. Hair slicked. I cleaned up decent when motivated by malice. Sully's piece dropped at noon. Scrap King's Secret Empire. Manslaughter. Toxins. And a family's fall from grace. Front page. Digital blaze across the Sun-Times app. Twitter, X. Whatever the hell Musk called it now. Ignited. Harrison horror trending. Elena's handle ratioed into oblivion. She'd called thrice. Voicemails escalating from pleas to threats. You've ruined us. Todd's pulling strings, feds at the door.
Good.
Let the string snap. The hall thrummed with string quartet Bach, undercut by murmurs of scandal. I snagged a flute of view from a tray. Scanning the crowd. Ruiz nursing a scotch. Eyes darting like a cornered rat. Hargrove schmoozing donors.
Tie straight as a lie.
Then Elena, ethereal in emerald silk. Diamonds winking like false tears. Todd's arm a possessive clamp. She moved like smoke. Damage control in heels. But her smile cracked at the edges. I waited till the speeches. Lurking by the Monet, water lilies mocking the blood in the water. Mayor's wife droned about community resilience, then Elena took the podium. Voice steady as a surgeon's scalpel. Tonight, we honor Victor's vision, turning waste into wonder. Despite recent whispers, the foundation stands strong. To family flawed, but unbreakable. Applause. Polite but poisoned. I stepped forward then.
Glass raised.
To family. Like the one that buries bodies for beamers. Heads turned. A ripple of gasps. Elena's eyes locked on mine, shock. Then fury. A Medusa glare. Security materialized. But I pressed. Voice carrying like a mic drop. Ask her about Marcus Hale. Or the Blue Island barrels leaching lead into kids' playgrounds. $2 for silence?
Nah.
I'm cashing in the truth. Chaos bloomed. Flashes popping. Phones out. Ruiz bolting for the exit. Todd lunged. Fist cocked. But I sidestepped, dumping champagne on his Armani. Easy. Wall Street. Your shorts are showing, embezzlement shorts. Elena descended, crowd parting like the Red Sea. Up close. Her perfume choked, Chanel no. 5. Dad's favorite on mom. Jack.
Please.
Not here. Here's perfect. Gallery of Thieves. I thrust the printout. Sully's article. Circled quotes. A gasp from a socialite. Is this true? The hidden run. Her hand trembled, but she snatched it.
Crumpling.
You're sick. Daddy gave you everything, the yard, the second chances. Second? Tries scapegoat. Voices swelled. A jury forming. I leaned in, whisper for her ears. Hale had a daughter. In Gary. She wrote me last week, thanks for the obit. Said her dad deserved better than your tires. Tears welled. Real ones, rare as hen's teeth. I was scared. We were kids. You said you'd protect me. Protected. Past tense. Security hauled me back. Meaty grips on biceps. But not before I kissed her cheek, Judah style. Enjoy the spotlight.
Cease.
It's all yours now. Outside. Into the night. Michigan Avenue, a river of taillights. Paparazzi swarming like flies. I ditched the tux in an alley dumpster. Hoodie reclaimed. .38 cold comfort in my waistband. Footsteps echoed. Pursuit? Paranoia's gift. Ducked into a blues bar on Rush. Sax wailing like my soul. Ordered a Jameson neat. The barkeep. A grizzled black vet named Leroy with stories etched in wrinkles. Slid it over. Rough night. Chief, you got that hunted look. Family reunion gone south. I sipped. Fire blooming. Told him the bones, no names. Just the meat. He nodded. Polishing glasses. Had a brother once. Army. Covered for him in Nam. Took the heat for a frag. Came home. He OD'd on the glory. Forgiveness? Overrated. Truth? Cleans the wound. His words stuck like burrs as I slipped out. L to Pilsen. The apartment was a siege. Door splintered.
Drawers ransacked.
Hargrove's doing? Or Elena's desperation? Missing. The diary. The originals.
Fuck.
I barricaded with the fridge. Slept with the .38 under pillow. Dreams of gala ghosts dancing. Dawn brought feds, real ones.
Pantsuits at the door.
Jack Harrison? FBI. We need to talk Harrison salvage. Heart slam. About. Rico. Your sister's name's on warrants. Yours too, witness or accomplice. Lead agent. Ramirez. Latina with eyes like flint. Flash the badge. Cooperate. Or you're in the wind with her.
Cooperate.
Sell out Elena for immunity. The $2 laughed from the floor, kicked loose in the raid. I pocketed it. Nodded. Coffee shop. Neutral. Over sludge at the corner diner. Ramirez laid cards. Raids at dawn. Elena in cuffs for fraud. Ruiz flipping like a pancake. You leaked the docs. Smart. But 07? Sealed juvenile. Unless she confesses. I stirred sugar. Granules swirling like conspiracies. Give me access.
Guáirme.
I'll get her singing. Ramirez eyed me. Calculating.
Why?
Blood's thicker. Thinner than the lie I've lived. Deal struck. Vest under shirt. Meet Elena at the lake house, her safe space, per the tap. The drive north was a funeral procession, snow flurries veiling the dunes. Radio droning impeachment trials and AI dooms. Lake house glowed. Elena's beamer in the drive, ironic.
That.
She answered haggard. Silk robe slipping. Eyes red-rimmed. Jack.
God. Come in.
It's falling apart. Inside. Fire crackling. She poured wine with shaking hands. Todd's lawyered up, says divorce.
Ruiz ghosted.
And you. Why? I tapped the vest hidden. Mike live.
Why?
Because the $2 was the last straw. But the camel's been loaded since 07. She collapsed on the sofa. Sobs racking. I didn't mean the deer. The rain. Daddy said confess. But the election. He was running for alderman. Dad covered for power. I covered for you. Voice steady. But gut churning. Say it.
Él.
For Hale. For me. Her head snapped up. Wineglass shattering. You tape me? You bastard. Lunge, nails raking. But I held firm. It's over. Manslaughter.
Fraud.
All of it. Sirens wailed distant. Ramirez's cavalry.
Elena crumpled.
Whispering. Forgive me. The door burst. Agents swarming. Cuffs clicked. Her wail piercing. I turned away. $2 burning pocket. Victory? Tasted like ash. The federal holding cell in the Dirksen building was a concrete womb, gray walls sweating condensation. Bench hard as regret. The hum of fluorescence drilling into your skull like a bad hangover. They'd hauled Elena straight from the lake house to a black site SUV. Me trailing in Ramirez's unmarked cruiser. The .38 confiscated like a dirty secret. Good work. Harrison, she'd said, clapping my shoulder. But don't get cocky. Your prints are on half the docks. Prints.
Yeah.
I'd forged a few back in the day, Dad's errands.
Now.
As the sun clawed over the loop, I sat in interrogation room B12, mirror winking like a judgmental eye. Coffee steamed in styrofoam. Ramirez across the table with a tablet of sins.
Partner.
Agent Kowalski, Polish tank. Buzz cut. Perpetual scowl, leaned against the wall. Arms crossed. Walk us through it. Jack. Ramirez started. Voice smooth as lake calms before storms. From the will to the wire.
No bullshit.
I sipped. Bitter brew matching my mood. The $2 sat on the table.
Exhibit A.
Hargrove's note taped beside. Bullshit's the family business. Dad built it on buried barrels, literal and fig. Elena drove the Civic that night. I confessed to keep her clean. Kowalski grunted. Juvenile seal holds unless reopened. Why now? The will. $2, a fuck you for the silence tax. I leaned back. Chair creaking. Leaked to Sully. Wired the confession.
Boom, Rico breakfast.
Ramirez tapped the screen. Elena's mugshot. Hair wild. Defiance cracking. She's lawyering up. Claims coercion. You? Accessory after the fact. 07 and the leaks. Accessory. The words stuck like gravel in gears. I was 16. Dad pulled strings, bribes. Not badges.
Elena?
She knew. Ran the shell game after he died. They grilled for hours, timelines, alibis. The .38 cereal, clean.
Cal's gift.
Kowalski paced. Boots thumping like heartbeats. This ain't TV.
Kid.
Families flip. Your sister's singing already, blaming Victor.
You.
The dog.
Elena flipping? Nah.
But doubt wormed. Lunch was a bologna sandwich. Dry as lies. Eaten under watch. Afternoon brought Hargrove. Cuffed and sour. In the next room, glass one way. His weasel eyes darting. Victor's fixer, Ramirez narrated. Flipped like a coin. Your leaks spooked him. Good. But the mirror lied. My reflection gaunt. Eyes hollow as hails. By dusk, they cut me loose. Material witness. Not charged. Yet. Ramirez slipped a card. Stay reachable. And Jack, blood washes. But stains linger. Pilsen welcomed with chaos. Yellow tape across my door. Federal search stamped. Neighbors gossiped in Spanish. Eyes curious. Inside.
Gottet, kokbord bare.
Fridge empty. Squatter's paradise. I crashed at Leroy's bar. Caught in the back amid kegs and blues records. Hero or heel, he asked, pouring free pours.
Both. Ale.
News cycled. Elena arraigned. Bail denied. Flight risk. Passport yanked. Todd vanished to Dubai. Assets frozen. Ruiz in solitary. Singing soprano. The Trib ran my non-quote. Anonymous source ignites Harrison Inferno. Twitter mob split. Justice for Hale versus Free Elena. Memes of Beamers in flames. Sleep evaded. Caught lumpy. Dreams. Dad's ghost in the yard. Torching ledgers. Elena's child voice begging. Jackie. Don't tell. Woke sweating. $2 in fist crease now. Jackson faded. Dawn hit with a knock. Cal. Duffel in hand. Heard on the scanner. Need wheels. Sanctuary. We rolled south. His rig a rolling confessional. Indiana, again. But detoured Gary. Hale's old haunt. The daughter. Maria, 30s. Tough shell Latina, running a diner off Broadway, met us wary. Saw the news. You the leaker?
Yeah.
I slid a photo. Hale's purple heart.
P.I. scrounged.
He deserved airtime. She nodded. Tears unshed. Mom died waiting for justice.
This.
Closure. Hugged quick.
Fierce.
Don't be stranger. Back on I-80. Cal probed. Worth it. Pricey.
But yeah.
Wind howled. Snow devils dancing. Chicago loomed by noon, but I bailed at the yard's unfinished business. Joey met me at the gate. Face ashen. Feds clear the office. Found more bodies.
Jack.
Not literal, but close. Payoffs to hush union hits. Union hits. Dad's dark underbelly. Elena no?
Guessed.
She greenlit a few post-Victor. He handed keys, Dad's old forklift. Hide here. I owe you. I bunked in the cab. Diesel cradle rocking. Phone buzzed unknown. Voicemail, Elena. Hollow. Holding in MCC. They say 20 years. You happy? Visit soon. Love.
El.
Love. Twisted knife. I deleted, but it carved deep. Night fell. Yard a labyrinth of shadows. Footsteps crunch. I gripped a wrench. Heart slamming. Figure emerged, Todd. Disheveled. No Rolex gleam. Jack. Truce. Elena sent. Needs out.
Out.
To Dubai with you? Sneer. He flinched. She's pregnant. Didn't know. Miscarried stress, yours. Pregnant. The word detonated. Miscarried. My niece? Nephew?
Gone.
Rage blinded. Wrench swinging. He dodged. Pleading.
Wait.
The real secret. Victor wasn't your dad. Mom's trucker? He was. Victor knew. Cut you for it. Liar. Or truth. Blood test. The $2, token of bastardy? I lowered the wrench. World tilting. Prove it. Safe deposit. Loop bank. Key in the Beamer glove box. He bolted. Shadows swallowing. I hotwired the forklift. Rampaging stacks, metal screaming. Catharsis in chaos. Dawn found me wrecked. Sirens closing. Ramirez again. Vandalism? Really? Cuffed light. But eyes soft. Elena confessed all. Including paternity. Victor's will? Revenge for the affair. Twist gutted. Not son, but cuckoo. The walkout? From a lie. Charge me or cut me.
Cut.
But run the tape. She played Elena's cell call. Jack's innocent. Victor's hate wasn't blood. Innocent. Hollow victory. The loop's canyons swallowed secrets whole, skyscrapers clawing sky. Pedestrians, ants in the grind. Winter sun, a weak apology through smog. I emerged from Dirksen a ghost. Ramirez's card crumpled in fist. The $2 reborn as talisman of unbelonging. Not Harrison blood? The revelation hit like a ricochet. Years of loyalty. A life of shadows. All for a trucker's seed mom planted in Reno soil. Victor's empire. Elena's shine. Borrowed. Tainted. Bank First Chicago Trust. Marble mausoleum of money. Todd's key fit the box slick. Envelope yellowed. Letter from mom. Postmarked 91. Jackie, your father's Earl Kane. Rig driver. Victor knows. But he'll raise you right. Don't hate me. Photo clipped, me at 5. Spitting image of a burly stranger in CB radio pose. Earl Kane, dead 5 years. Diabetic coma in a Topeka motel. No kin. No claim. I torched the letter in a plaza ashtray. Ashes scattering like absolved sins. Free or unmoored. Pilsen called. But home was ash. Leroy's bar it was neon sanctuary. Blues crooning stormy Monday. He poured without asking. Eyes reading headlines in my slump. Paternity plot? TV shit. Lifetime movie. I clinked. Rye burning truth. Spilled the bastard bomb. Leroy nodded.
Sax solo wailing sympathy.
Blood's overrated.
Solken,
That's the glue.
Solken.
Joey?
Cal. Maria Hale.
Maybe. Phone silent, no Elena.
No feds.
Twitter storm raged. Bastard Harrison viral. Memes of me as the milkman's revenge. Sully texted. Book deal? Spill more.
Delete.
Fame's a trap. Gilded cage for the damned. Night brought restlessness. Caught too small for ghosts. Slipped out. L to the yard. Joey on night shift. Crane silhouette against moon. Heard the buzz. Victor's not dad? Explains the cold shoulder. Explains. Don't excuse. We cracked beers in the trailer. Hargrove's ghost lingering in file dust. Joey pulled a ledger, new.
Ella Serra.
Post-gala halls. She tried burying, but feds missed this. Mob ties. Fresh.
Mob.
Outfit 2.0. Russian flavors now. Oligarchs laundering through scrap. Elena's desperation play? I scanned. Shipments to a Calumet front. Artifacts code for guns. Girls? She went dark after dad. Joey shrugged. Golden child tarnished. Blames you. Blame game eternal. I pocketed the ledger. Fence it quiet. Cash for the road. Dawn found me hitching east, Cal's route flipped. But detoured south. Blue Island. The poison heart. Suburbs decayed. Factories skeletal. River reeking chemical regret. The dump site. Chain-linked cathedral to carelessness. Barrels rusted crowns under snow. I cut through. Boots sinking mud. Air acrid as lies unearthed. Kids' playground abutted. Swings creaking empty. Slides scarred graffiti. Lead in the soil. Birth defects up 40%. EPA buried the report. Harrison donation greased.
A boy.
10 maybe. Kicked a Ken. Eyes dull as the water. Mister. You lost.
Nah.
Fixing. Slipped him a 20. Buy your sis a doll. Clean one. Back on the highway. Thumb out. Rage simmered to resolve. Gary again, Maria's diner. Hale's haven. Neon flickering hope. She hugged fierce. No questions. Dadded like you.
Seat.
On the house. Over Posel's steaming soul. She shared. Hale's letters from Nam. Poetry scrawled in foxholes. Blamed himself for everything. You gave him peace.
Peace.
Elusive. Your justice now. Lawsuit pending. Harrison assets. Elena's frozen. But the foundation? We'll bleed it dry for the kids here. Good.
Blood money recycled right.
Cal scooped me at dusk. Rig rumbling to Chi. Plan. Confront the queen. Elena's arraignment tomorrow. Public circus. MCC's halls echoed hollow, steel doors clanging fate. Visitor's booth. Plexi barrier. Phone greasy relic. Elena shuffled in. Jumpsuit orange as betrayal. Hair limp.
No makeup mask.
Jack. Voice crack. Eyes searching mine, not bluekin now.
Cease.
Or half. Bitter twist. She flinched. Doesn't change us.
Mom.
She told me after prom. Wanted to tell you. But Dad forbade. Victor. The puppeteer dead. The $2? His last laugh at the cuckoo. Tears tracked.
No.
Symbolic. 2 lives you saved.
Mine. And.
The babies?
Wait.
Todd lied. Miscarriage was before. Stress from the deals. Baby lie. Todd's knife. Why the mob ledger? Post-dad's suicide pact. Desperation gleamed. Ruiz pushed. Said it'd bail us out. I was scared, pregnant for real now. Anonymous donor. For the firm. Legacy. Legacy. Twisted. Confess it all. No more covers. She nodded.
Slow. For you.
For Hale. But Jack, forgive? We're all we got. Blood not by blood. But chains forged in fire. Maybe. After the fall, guards hauled her. Her hand pressing glass, mine mirroring. Outside, Ramirez waited. She flipped on the Russians. Good.
Yeah.
Wind off the riverbed. Cut me loose. Witness protection? Or walk. Walk. Got unfinished roads. Pilsen last. Leroy's farewell bash, blues jam. Shots lined. Don't be a stranger. Soul son. Joey slipped cash, ledger fenced. Cal idled outside. East or west?
South.
Reno. Mom's ghost calls. Rig merged onto 90. City shrinking rear view. The $2 on dash. Jackson grinning. Make it count?
Tallying.
But twist waited. Burner buzzed. Unknown video. Elena in cell. Shank flashing. Screams cut. Harrison's down, news alert. Stabbed. Mob payback? Or inside job? Cal floored it. U-turn. Revenge unfinished. Interstate blacktop unspooled like a noose tightening. Cal's rig thundering back to Chi. Wipers battling sleet. Radio crackling alerts. Elena Harrison Thompson, 32. Assaulted in federal custody. Condition critical. My gut nodded. The $2 forgotten on dash as billboards blurred. Jesus saves. Guns allowed. Fentanyl kills. Elena.
Shanked.
Payback's blade swift. Russians.
Cal grunta. Downshifting around a semi.
Or Todd. Or Ruiz's ghosts. Fingers drummed wheel scar. Drop me at MCC. You sure? Feds'll cage you. Cage beats grave. We parted at the loop. His taillights fading like old loyalties. Taxi to the jail, driver chattering scandal. That rich bitch?
Deserved. Tip 0.
MCC loomed. Fortress of despair. Floodlights carving shadows sharp as shivs. Ramirez met at the gate. Face thunder. You hear? Cell block scuffle. Russian broad. Wife of a pack-han Elena laundered for. Blade in the gut. Critical how? Surgery. Lost blood. Blames you. Last words before anesthesia. Jack started this. Started? The leak. The wire. Domino's eye toppled. Visitor. Family only. But you're. Whatever. She led through bowels, buzzers, clangs, air stale with bleach and fear. Waiting room. Vinyl purgatory. Vending machine humming judgment. Hours crawled. Coffee sludge fueling what-ifs. Todd burst in at 2 a.m. Suit rumpled. Eyes wild, no Dubai polish. You. This your shit show. Lunge. But Ramirez's shadow loomed. Kowalski materializing tank-like. Cool it, Thompson. Or join her. He slumped. Venom spilling. She was getting out. Plea for 10. House arrest. Baby's real.
Jack.
IVF. Post-miscarriage hope.
Now?
Tubes tied in surgery. Baby again. Echo of loss. The shank? Your mob pal's pissed. His laugh barked.
Hollow. Mean?
Elena played both sides. Russians for cash. Me for cover. I'm clean, well. Skimming's petty. Eyes darted. But the paternity? Victor suspected. DNA test in the box, yours too. Earl Kane.
Trucker.
But wait, Victor paid him off. Raised you anyway. Paid off. Bought loyalty like scrap. Why tell?
Truce.
Elena lives. Weary build. Foundation sanitized. You're cut. Legit this time.
No 2 pesos yokes.
Temptation slithered. Empire scraps. Family facsimile. But the blades glint. Elena's blood. Hale's echo. Rebuild on what? Lies. Dawn leaked gray. Surgeon emerging, scrubs blood-flecked. Stable. Gut stitched. Infection risk. Woke, asking for brother. Brother. Not blood, but bond. Ramirez nodded.
Go.
But this closes it, no more leaks. Booth again, Elena pale.
4D.
Voice whisper. Jack. Felt the steel. Thought of 07, the ditch. Your hands pulling me out.
Sure.
Rest. Phone pressed ear. Her breath fogging glass.
Who?
Doesn't matter. Consequences. Tears tracked. The baby girl. Naming her Grace.
If.
Visit? After? Yeah. Lie? Truth? Confess the Russians.
Full.
Nod weak. For Grace. For us. Guards wheeled her. My reflection fracturing in plexi. Outside. Todd waited. Extended hand. I shook. Grip iron. One move. And your next exhibit. He nodded. Slinking to limo. Ramirez. Charges drop if she testifies. Yours too.
Drop.
I'm out. Pilsen final pilgrimage. Leroy shuddered. Note taped. Soul kin. Road calls. Blues eternal. Joey at the yard. Forklift idling.
Heard.
She pull through. Yeah. Slapped his back. Ledger cash yours. Keep it clean.
Kaltaksta, Ritz Fualat.
Southbound. But Reno detoured. Blue Island first. Dump site dawn. Barrels frosted. Playground stirring. The boy from before kicked cans. Mom watching wary. Slid her the cash wad. For the kids. Clean soil fund. Eyes widened. Harrison. Ghost. Walked away. Weight lifting. I-90 West. Thumb out. New trucker.
Vet tuts.
Springsteen cassette. Where to? Anywhere but here. Wind through vent. $2 pocketed. Elena's text buzzed. Alive. Grace kicks. Forgive. Reply. Healing.
Send.
Twist lingered. Todd's limo tailed. Paranoia's gift. Cal called. Heard the shank. Feds nabbed the broad. Russian hit. Relief. But the real blade? Self-inflicted. Revenge's cost. Fractured family. But fractures let light in. Midwest blurred corn.
Cows.
Casinos. Reno lights beckoned. Mom's grave waiting. The $2? Souvenir of the scam. But Chicago called back. One last hook. Reno's basin baked under a December sun that lied about winter. Sagebrush sprawled like drunks. Casinos winking neon promises from the hills. I rolled in on a greyhound's wheeze. Duffel light. Soul heavier. The $2 a constant companion. creased as my conscience. Mom's grave waited in a pauper's plot outside town, lured Kane.
No headstone.
Just a sun-bleached cross from Earl's estate sale. Forgive the mess, it read in sharp fade. The cemetery was a dust-choked field, wind whispering sins. I knelt, dirt gritty under knees, tracing her name etched in memory. Hey.
Ma.
Trucker's son made it. Victor's not blood, your gift. Laughed wet. Tears salting soil. Elena's knifed, but kicking. Baby Grace incoming.
Where?
Mending. No answer. Just a raven cawing judgment. I left the $2 on the cross, Jackson's near a peace offering. Make it count? Tried. Town next, Earl's old haunt. A dive called the Rig Runner, neon cowboy slinging beers to his beans. Barkeep. A leathery crone named Sal. Poured without carding. Kane Kin? Saw the Chi News. Bastard drama. Flavor of the month. Spilled the saga. Hit run to Shank. Blood not binding. Sal nodded. Tattoos of roses and rigs blooming on arms. Earl was solid. Died broke. But heartful. Left you this. Slid a box, CB radio. Crackling static. Logbook of halls, pages dog-eared with poems to a boy never met. Static hiss life. Voices ghosting. Trucker's litany. I keyed. This is Midnight Cowboy. Anyone hear a lullaby? Crackle. Then, loud and clear.
Son.
Earl's Run. Chills. Or Ghost. Drank deep. Stories flowing. Earl's Reno runs. Mom's laugh in cab. By nightfall, Sal hooked me a bunk above the bar. Dreams of highways unbroken. Dawn brought reversal. Ramirez call. Elena's testifying. Russians crumbling. But twist. Todd's the Shank mastermind. Bribed the broad for insurance. Prenup clause. Baby leverage.
Todd.
The prick unmasked. Extradite. Dubai's coughing him up. Your wire sealed it.
Pause.
She wants you at the birth. Grace Harrison Kane. Kane. Fit better. Back east. Cal's rig shadowed. Guardian angel on wheels. Chicago winter thawed to slush. City shedding scandals like old skin. Yard first. Joey promoted. Clean books. You're doing. Beers. Pass. Family calls. MCC cleared for release. Elena pale but fierce. Belly rounding under scrubs. Booth swapped for room. Her hand in mine. Real touch. Jack. Grace felt you. Felt the fight.
Squeezed.
Todd. Rotting. Feds got the wire. His calls to Moscow. Smile ghost. Paternity freed us. Not Victor's puppets. Earl's rotors. Laughed. Tension cracking. Birthday dawned stormy. Hospital thunder rumbling like applause. Waiting room purgatory. Ramirez pacing. Kowalski smuggling donuts. Hours blurred. Then cry, piercing.
Pure.
Nurse. Boy? No girl. Grace Elena Kane Harrison.
Elena.
Sweat sheened. Cradled her, tiny fist waving triumph. Your niece. Godmother. And Jack. Held her. Weight of world's light. Hey.
Kid.
No beamers yet. Outpatient life. Elena paroled to house arrest. Foundation gutted for reparations. Hail fund first. Blue Island soil next. I crash Lake House. Bunk in the den. Grace's Coos soundtrack to healing. Twist finale. Will contested. Victor's estate. Blood be damned. Split, equitable. My half. Scrapyard shares. Cashed clean. Elena's eyes met mine over crib. The $2? Burned. In Reno. But pocketed a photocopy reminder.
Not chain.
Summer bloomed. Dunes golden. We walked the beach, Elena pushing stroller. Me hauling cooler of PBR. Regrets?
None.
You? Taught grace. Truth over tires. Wave crashed. Washing clean. But America's dark. Ruiz suicided in cell. Todd's trial a circus, skimming exposed. Empire ash. Elena testified poised. Grace teething in my arms outside court. And, open road. I hitched west again. Cal co-piloting. Reno calling for Grace's first desert dust.
Elena Wavet Godby.
Beamer traded for a sensible hybrid, irony's wink. The $2's echo. Betrayal's bill paid. Revenge's receipt torn. Not hero. Not heel, just kin. Flawed and free. In the rig's rumble. Radio crackled Springsteen. Thunder Road.
Fitting.
We rolled. Horizon endless. Family not by blood, but by the miles we'd crawled. And if the blade scars itch, Grace's laugh heals. Controversial? Hell yes, forgiveness over fire. But in this fractured land, it's the twist that saves. Fade to dunes. Raven overhead.
Count made.